Hi everybody, I'm DJ Foster and welcome to the Steve Lyon Show, our weekly look at the Grand Valley State baseball program with Laker head coach Steve Lyon. Coach, thanks for joining me today.
Good to be here, DJ.
Well, you guys went 4-0 last weekend. You've kept that winning streak going. You've now moved to 15 games in a row. You had double-digit runs in the first 3 games last weekend, and then just for the fun of it, you eked out a 1-run victory on Saturday afternoon. Give your overall thoughts on the weekend.
We did score a lot of runs those first 3 games, and it was nice to see the offense percolating along and doing well. 1 through 9 were hitting the ball well. We had a little wind blowing out, so that helped a couple of long balls get over the fence. And we've been hitting, like that all year, so it's good to see it keep happening. Then we got to the 4th game and struggled a little bit, got behind, and it was good to see our team fight from behind and get a 1-run victory, which we're certainly going to see more of as we get closer to the postseason.
Sure, it's always nice to win the close ones too. On Friday, though, you won a couple easy ones. 13-5, game 1. Corey Phillips went 3 for 3. Cody Grice and Steve Anderson both homered in that game. And then you went 15-1 in game 2. Chris Rudiga was 4 for 5. Grice, Jared Cowan, and Tori Aguirre all went deep. Talk a little bit about the sweep on Friday.
Well, as you mentioned, Cody Grice had a home run in each game on Friday, and that was good to see. He's in the middle of the order. Steve Anderson hit the ball real well. And Jared Cowan and Tori Aguirre have great power, so they got one up in the breeze. And I don't think they needed the breeze. They hit the ball really well. Would have went out anyways, so it was good to see that. Rudiga has been one of those guys who's in and out of the lineup a little bit, but when he does get in, he does produce, which is great to see from the sophomore outfielder. He's a real good teammate, a good player, and just unfortunately hasn't been able to play every game, but when he does get in there, he does well. So, combined effort, Corey Phillips has been hitting the ball really well all year, and actually in that first game we got down, and he had a big double for us, kind of get us rolling a little bit, drove in 2 runs with it, and then we kind of steamrolled a little bit, from there and won relatively easily, like you said, 13-5. In the second game, 15-1, with Billy Maple throwing another good game. So we've been getting good pitching, a lot of hitting. Friday was an example of that, and we got the sweep.
Well, now on Saturday, you kind of had a tale of 2 games. You win game 1 by a football score, 14-0. All kinds of production that game. Zach Lopp was 3 for 4. Anderson homered again, and then just for giggles, Joe Jablonski gives up only 3 hits in 6 innings. You only gave up 3 hits in that game. Then in game 2, it got a little interesting. You're down 4-0. You score 2 in the 5th. You get 3 in the 6th. You tied the game. Rudiga on a sacrifice squeeze, which you can talk about that too. And then Paul Yach got the go-ahead RBI single, which proved to be the game winner in the 5-4 victory. Talk about Saturday's events. Yeah,
it was, like you said, a tale of 2 different games. Of course, Jablonski came out, and we took a week off for him in terms of starting last weekend. Didn't throw except a couple innings out of the bullpen. And it proved to be valuable. He came back and threw really well. Had a no-hitter going into the 5th inning, I think. Gave up, like you said, 3 hits and pitched shutout ball for 6 innings. So that was good to see going into the last couple weeks of the regular season. And we scored a lot of runs for him, as you mentioned. And then the second game, it was trying. We need to win every game. We're not that far ahead in the conference or the regional standings, so we need to be focused every game. It's hard to do. We got down 4-0 right away and scraped a couple runs in the 5th, and then with 1 run down, Chris put down a good safety squeeze bunt, got the run in, got the other runner to second base, and then Garrett Yach, followed up with a base hit to put us ahead, and Brad Zambron came in and closed the door. So everything worked out well. It's nice to get those 1-run wins, as you said, and hopefully it will carry over into this next weekend.
And for his performances last week, Cody Grice was named the GLIAC Player of the Week. You've had a couple of those so far this year. Talk about his week last week and what he's meant to the team overall this season.
Well, Cody Grice gets a lot of the recognition just because of last year and, his preseason All-American status and those types of things. And Steve Anderson bats right behind him in the lineup, so they really can't pitch around Cody. Mm-hmm. And Steve's been tremendous. He leads our team in home runs and RBIs, does a great job of hitting with 2 strikes when necessary. So he's a total package as far as an offensive player. And in addition to that, he's become a very good defensive outfielder. He came into our program out of high school as a shortstop, and we asked him to move to the outfield. And progressively every year he's gotten better defensively, and he's become a better than average outfielder now.
Well, add all that up, you're now 35-3 overall in the year, 24-1 in the GLIAC regional or the national ranking. Came out today. You're number 2 Not sure what that all means in the grand scheme of things. I'm sure as a coach, it's not a big deal to you now, but you've scored the most of the fewest runs. With a coach's perspective, what can you work on? Obviously, it doesn't look like there's much, but I'm sure there's things you can pick that you would like to work on a little bit and improve on.
Yeah, we've won some games in spite of ourselves at times, DJ. Some of the competition within our conference has been a little bit below average. Some of the teams are struggling. We still have to win all those games, and we certainly have, and the streak we've been on has been phenomenal. We hope we can keep it going for a while longer. That would be great. But there's always things, every game you have, you're going to be doing poorly. So it's coach's job, in part, to bring that to their attention and make sure that we don't rest on our laurels or think too highly of ourselves. That's why we don't get caught up with those national rankings too much. We just want to be, in the top, 5 or 6 at the end of the season, so we're, playing for a national championship somewhere. And to do that, we've got to keep our focus on the next game.
Well, and the next games, you'll have a good test this weekend. You go to Wayne State for 4. On Saturday and Sunday, you'll play doubleheaders. They're second place in the conference, so you'll take that winning streak there. You're undefeated on the road this year, I do believe. So what is the weekend looking like against the Warriors? They're
very good. A good program. In the last 2 or 3 years, they've really improved, and they're solid at home. They're a tough team at home. They have a beautiful facility. It's kind of modeled after Fenway Park with a big, high left field wall and big dimensions in center and right center. So it's a little different setting for us. It'll be a test for us, and that'll be good for us. We need to be tested. We haven't been tested a lot, as some of those scores indicated this past weekend. This weekend, we're going to be tested. Wayne State's got a good program. I'm sure they're hungry for us to come into town. There'll be a good crowd there. Hopefully the weather will be good, and it'll be an exciting baseball series, and we're certainly looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Well, we'll keep tabs on you, and then we'll talk to you again next week and see how everything went.
You bet, DJ.
Thanks a lot. And thank you for joining me on the Grand Valley Sports Network. I'm DJ Foster. We'll talk to you again next week.